Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting us in your home. It's a huge pleasure for me to be here.
Well, it's a huge pleasure for me to have you all the way from Bulgaria. That's just crazy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much as well. So, there are a lot of questions that I have to ask you because people are waiting for them.
Okay.
Yeah, they really wait for that moment, for sure.
I'm ready to answer questions.
So, let's start from the very beginning. When exactly you get in the show business?
Oh, whoa. Well, okay. Briefly, I was a very shy child. And my mother thought, I'll give her acting lessons. That will bring the magic out in this kid. And so I took acting lessons starting when I was about 6 years old. And did theater all the way through. I kind of got serious about it when I was 13 or 14. I did some local shows, kind of semi-professional. And of course, all the way through high school, every weekend I was rehearsing or doing a show. And ended up in New York, got a contract to Universal Studios, and ended up here in California.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a cool story. And how all the things with how began? Was it your first sitcom? Was it your first acting? Or you had something before that?
The way that Hollywood was working, particularly then, was every year they would shoot like 125 pilots. And so I booked pilots, lots of pilots. And I was kind of like the pilot queen. And every year, but they would select from the 125, ABC, CBS, and NBC, they would select maybe 15 or 20. So I did a lot of pilots before Alf came along. And some of them ran for a year and a half. Some of them ran for 12 episodes. But this one really caught on. It really caught on. It was fun.
And do you remember the first moment when they called you and said, well, we have a TV show for you, it's Alf. What was the reaction?
Well, let's see, I had an audition, and then I had a call back for the audition. And the producer said, we called you in, Anne, because I forgot what you did. I just wanted you to remind me what you did. So I was like, okay, I'm perfectly willing to read this, And the creator of Alf, and of course, well, there is no Alf without the creator of Alf, obviously. And so that was the first time I met him. And when I left the room, after the audition, I turned back to Paul Fusco, who's one of the creators, and Alf, and I said, I think, and I spoke to the puppet, I think you are going to be a big, big star. And I nailed it. He was. And I got to go along on that ride.
How many hours per day did you film it?
We rehearsed for 4 days and then shot on the 5th. And the rehearsal days were great and fun. And the most fun of doing a sitcom, though, is when it's called the sit-down read or the table read. And because that's the first time that you're all hearing each other with the jokes. And that is a merry, merry thing. Then you have to dig in and do the work, the hard work of comedy, And so we'd have the table read on Monday, we would work for 4 days, and then on the 5th day we'd have a grueling, 12, it wouldn't surprise me if we had even 14-hour days. Because technically it was a little bit difficult.
Why? Why
well, you remember Alf, right? And if you and I were in the scene together, he'd be right here, right? And where's the puppeteer? Well, we're on an elevated stage. He's underneath the stage, holding the puppet into the scene. So that means there's a hole there. There's a big hole where the puppeteer is standing. So I couldn't just say, hey, let me go get you a cup of coffee and stand up and run to the kitchen and bring it back. By the way, would you like a cup of coffee?
Well, maybe something we'll American coffee, yes. We'll later maybe.
Yeah. So what would happen is that you'd stand, and then everything would stop. They'd fill in the hole, and you'd be able to walk across it to the kitchen. So it was very time-consuming and laborious, and plus everybody's shooting for as close to perfection as possible. So that means take 1, take 2, take 3, sometimes, So yeah, it was a long day. Long day. Yeah.
And how long did you film the TV show? How many
years?
How many years? Yeah. How many episodes?
It's funny. I don't know why, but I keep kind of trying to adjust it. It was I believe it was 3 years. Then I had my daughter. Then there was one more year that I went to work with my kiddo, my little bundle, and then the show was canceled. So you know, so it was a good 4-year run.
When did they cancel it, in fact?
Well, the numbers were down a little bit, and the head of the network went to Paul Fusco and said, "Hey, let's go on location with Alf. Let's take him someplace. Let's put him on a cruise. Let's do." And the creator was like, "Nope, I don't want to do that." And it was like, I think it's probably a good idea if the head of the network wants you to go on a cruise, you do. I mean, it could have been arranged, but it didn't work out that way. And the numbers dropped sufficiently that I guess they just said, okay, never mind. He doesn't want to play ball anyway, so. And, you know, you move on to other things.
Talking about your daughter, I remember that, in fact, she told me that you were pregnant with her when you were playing Alf.
Yes, yes, I was. It was at the end of the 3rd season, and the last show we did, it was a scene, maybe Alf fans will remember it. It was a scene we were in the backyard, and Alf was insisting that we partake of a Melmacian ritual in which everyone had to wear meat. So I am like 9 months pregnant, and I have sausages all over me, and you know, it's not something you forget. And then she was delivered, and there she was. Yes, she was there, and then she was delivered in real life about a week later.
How exactly did the creator get the idea of Alf, this little crazy alien?
I don't know. That's a really good. I don't know. You know, this is a man. There aren't a lot of these people in the world, but he's a puppeteer. Puppets are his bag, baby. I mean, he enjoys the whole theater of puppetry. And I think it just kind of grew out of his probably college experience, you know. And he was a little stubborn about the puppet because he insisted that we never, ever, ever refer to Alf as a puppet. So that made personal appearances a little bit difficult because that meant that I had to say I was working with an alien from outer space. And, you know, I wasn't real comfortable with that idea, you know. And so I didn't do a lot of press during that show. As a matter of fact, I had a publicist that fired me. He quit because I was invited to do The Tonight Show. And Jay Leno was guesting, and I met Jay, and his manager said, "Wouldn't you come on The Tonight Show? It'd be so fun to be with Jay." And I was like, "I don't think so." And then Jay came to me on the set we were working on. It was like, "Oh, come on, Annie. It'll be great, Annie." And I don't know if Bulgarians know Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They do.
Okay. Good. So it was like I reluctantly said yes, and then I withdrew. And my publicist said, "Okay, I'm done with you. If you won't do The Tonight Show, then there's not a damn thing I can do for you." Then he walked away.
You were mad.
It was hard for me to be a celebrity because I think of myself as an actress, and I'm also an inveterate antique collector, and it would blow my cover for negotiating prices on antiques because it was like, oh, Hollywood star, you know. So yeah, that was then, now is now.
Please tell me one of the most favorite moments that you had with Alf. The best ones.
Wow. Alf was a lot of trouble. You know, he really was. He was a lot of trouble. For instance, I could not touch Alf. Nobody would guess that. There are no fans that would guess that. But if you look carefully at the episodes, you will not see any family member touch Alf ever. Because he had a cadre of handlers, hair people, makeup, puppeteer, everyone hovering around, making sure that he was camera ready. I mean, the rest of us were like, who cares? Whatever. But Alf was like impeccable. He was always home just so, and I never touched him.
Wow.
That I can recall. There might have been some weird, no, I don't think so. I didn't. Yeah. So he was a diva.
A diva?
Yeah, he was a diva.
The diva.
A little bit difficult, a little bit. His handlers were tough, yeah.
When was in fact the very last episode of the very last TV show of
the last episode? Okay, the last episode of Alf was notable. Oh boy, you're getting me to tell stories out of school. But the last episode, Max Wright, he was not in a good place, and he was obviously looking forward to not shooting that show anymore. And the last scene was with Max. We did one take, and he walked straight off the set, and never to be seen again. There was not a matter. The director was not in a position, let me put it, to say, could we take that one more time? He was gone.
Wow.
So that was the last, and you know, the rest of us were big hugs and loves and kisses.
Yeah.
And you know, I think Max was just having a particularly bad day.
Well, is Кейт Танер your favorite role that you have ever played?
I don't know about that, but it's the longest role I ever played, and therefore it's you know, seminal. It's more a part of me than other roles. Kate was a nice woman. Kate was good. She was forbearing. She put up with it. Yeah.
Can you say something like Кейт Танер for the Bulgarian audience? Some part of the TV show?
Willie! Alf. Anything that's fun is more fun with Alf.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that line. And, you know,
Benji's right.
Benji was right about that. Because he was the centerpiece of the show, and he got the bulk of the really fun stuff. But otherwise, there was a show, I remember a Christmas show very well. I mean, this was a long time ago. And, you know, sometimes you look at film that from that far ago, and it's kind of astonishing, because you were like, oh my gosh, I don't remember that. Oh look, I'm disco dancing. I don't remember that. It's gone. It's completely gone. But there were a few episodes, the Christmas episode in which the tree was leaning, and they called in the tree leaner who arrived, you know. It was sort of a dream sequence. The picnic that I mentioned where we were all wearing meat, you know, like pork chops and meat hats, and I don't know what all we had on. I remember another episode that was memorable because it was on location, and it was outside of Los Angeles at a cabin. That I remember that being fun to go on location, because otherwise you're pretty much locked in a studio with no windows and, you know, a soundstage. So yeah, there's some very fun memories. The famous memory from the and someone mentioned it earlier today, but in the pilot episode where I wake up and see Alf, I wake up in bed and Alf is this close to my face, and we scream, and I run and he runs. That was a great moment. In the credits, I don't know how they got me into that towel, stepping out of a bathtub. I don't know why they would have done that. I remember that. Every time I saw it, I go, how'd they get me in that towel? That's crazy. I'm just supposed to be a little housewife, you know? So, yeah, it was good times. It really was, yeah.
Vanetta Stanova is asking you, would you live with an alien like Alf in your real life?
Would I?
Yeah, would you?
No. No. I will live with a Chihuahua. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to live with a Chihuahua or any other small, fuzzy, and little canine. But an alien and one so obnoxious, no.
No talking alien.
No talking alien, no thank you, yeah.
Well, Vanya Kostova is asking if, is Alf a doll or he's acted by someone?
Oh, yeah. He's actually acted by two people. Mm-hmm. One of them does the mouth and one arm and the voice, obviously, because he's doing the mouth. And then there's a second puppeteer doing the other arm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a couple people. And then there is the Alf Wrangler, we call him, that is combing hair and making sure that Alf is camera ready. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hair and makeup, let's say.
Well, he's a huge celebrity.
Yeah, yes, he is.
A lady...
Star treatment, you know.
Star treatment, yeah. A lady named Petya Dedikova, she's asking you, how do you think your life would look like if you weren't acting in ALF?
Just like it is. Just like it is right now. Yeah. Because, as I said, you know, there's so many things that I love doing and so many things that I'm interested in doing. You know, there are actresses that I have worked with in my career that they're on a job. It's a good job. They're acting every day. They're on the call sheet, come in at 8 a.m., you know, they're doing hair, makeup, and the cameras are rolling and they're shooting. And all the time they're thinking about, what's my next job? What's my next job? And I was never like that. I was more like, oh, right now I'm painting. I feel I'm painting. What? I have an audition? Oh, darn. You know, so acting is one of the things I do, but there's so many things I do. So, no, my life would be just the way it is right now, actually.
Well, a friend of the show is asking, Paul Thomas, who was the better behaved child, Taylor or Alf?
That's tough. That's very tough. No, Taylor. Yeah, no, Taylor's my daughter's, isn't she cute?
She is.
Yeah, she's a good girl, and I wouldn't trade Taylor for anything, let alone an alien. Yeah.
Krasimira Koleva is asking, which is your favorite moment of ALF filming?
Okay, the most memorable moment in ALF. Do you remember I told you how there were holes on the floor and the puppeteer is standing on the ground and I'm on an elevated stage? Okay. And there's holes there. Okay. So this was a rehearsal. It was a shooting day and cameras were there. But it was early in the process and we were just going to rehearse, just run through the scene real fast, run through it. So I enter from the kitchen. And so I hear my cue. I threw open the door. I launched myself into the room with some force, and there was just directly in front of me was a cavernous hole. Wow. It was a walkway. It was a tunnel. And I fell 4 feet and landed exactly on my feet like this, like this.
It's like a miracle.
I was there, and then I was there. And everybody was like, oh my God, Anne, you almost own the studio, because I could have easily, you know, broken my back, anything, you know, had brain damage, whatever.
Yeah.
That was like the most dramatic ALF moment that I can recall.
What do you generally think about a charity?
Charities in general?
Yeah, charity in general.
I'm all for them. I mean, there are a lot of people that need help, right? I think it's wonderful what you do. I think it's wonderful that you reach out, and especially now with the state of the world, that you are doing positive and uplifting things for people in need. And this is all anyone can do, right? When you look at the whole panorama of all the chaos and the trouble and the wars and the terrorist wars and what can individuals do? They can help each other. And that's what you do. So, to my mind, you're my hero. You know, holiday heroes are probably, you're referring to the kids, but for me, it's the people that are willing, you know, to help and to lend a hand and to kick in and do positive things to counteract a lot of negative things. When you give, it's a gift for yourself. Yeah. Because it makes you feel better about yourself and better about life, to lend a helping hand. So it's a win-win thing, you know, to participate in your organization. And I tip my hat.
So I would like to give you a gift from Holiday Heroes that's especially for you. It's a t-shirt that I bring you from Bulgaria.
Oh, this is from me.
Yeah, it flies all the way from here. And
I have big heart.
Yeah, I have a big heart.
Heroes.
You have a big heart.
You know what? It looks like my size too.
It is.
What do you think?
We try to be.
I love my ALF fans, and Bulgarians are at the top of the list. As for Holiday Heroes, I send greetings to all the darling children and the families that are going to be brought together by Holiday Heroes. And I want to thank all of the people that contribute to Hollywood Heroes. One last thing. As Pradi SMS, S-Text DMS Juroi, na nomer 17777. Okay? That's a little contribution for a great, big, important cause. You'll do it. I know you will. I know you will. Thank you. Show your love in action. This is a good way to do it.